any stretch of the imagination. Like, when he's on Brigitte, he has been the weakest part of the Legion. But we know he's a good player on DPS heroes. It surprises me a little to see Legion come out here on a Sombra Goat strategy where just look at Overwatch.
They're probably expecting a creepy setup, triple DPS setup from Skyfoxes and want to counter. But in my opinion, I agree with your assessment in that. Why worry about counter comping when you could just play the mirror?
Yeah.
You could just play the mirror, put water on a hero that he's much more comfortable with. As we have an immediate pause, so back at it again.
That really stresses me. That's causing me to overexert myself, where in our setup right now, I'm just sitting on the floor when we
by his
broadcast.
choice, by the way.
By my choice.
There's chairs here. You're choosing to sit on the floor.
I mean, realistically speaking, I get a better view of the game, what's going on relative to the TV. The TV isn't elevated, but when we do the quick pause, I have to go. I go from sitting down to immediately having to just stand up. It's incredibly taxing.
It's just
life is hard.
That's hard stuff right there.
It's incredibly difficult.
You want to think about that. Sitting up and standing, like, just maybe you should train for the Olympics next.
Well, no, I have to keep my power in reserve.
That's
the world cannot see the true power of a fit ZP.
That's true. That would be a truly that would be a terrifying thing to witness. Having that much.
Can you imagine
energy.
6 months from now I start hitting the gym and just walk up more buff than flame?
I think that Bryn's getting his home gym, so you could make your own home gym with Bryn. You could have a very, very home gym setup between the two of you.
Do you really want to trust Bren around
videos,
heavy equipment with no one else around? Like, people are just gonna find Bren like in a cell phone saying like, I'm stuck underneath 10 barbells.
I mean, I've seen Bryn. It's definitely not that heavy. Whatever the equipment is, it's definitely not that heavy. You know, it'd be reasonable, very reasonably sized.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, realistically speaking, though, how is Bren going to catch up to Elk's incredibly impressive bench presses without good gym equipment?
We'll have to see. So it is going to be. We're still waiting for whatever is happening between Skyfoxes and Legion now. We're on the first mid, and I think Skyfoxes, they see the comp for Legion, they just went back and swapped. But then a pause immediately happened. We don't know who's paused. We don't know what that may be, but currently waiting on to get finished out here. And for both these teams, we can touch on the narrative a little bit more, which is really, it's seeding for playoffs. Both these squads probably pretty confirmed, pretty locked in for playoffs at this point, regardless of what happens based off their previous victories. And for them, it's really determining who's going to be seeded where.
Yes, I think both teams are playoff teams, but seeding matters because you want to end up on the side of the bracket that doesn't have to go up against Atlanta. I think that is the key, assuming you want to get to Gauntlet later in the year. But as we wait for the teams, as we have two logos on screen right now, this is a good time to evaluate where, on one hand, you have the Gladiators logo where some teams decide to make a special logo specifically for their academy team, and the Gladiators say, no, the Legion, we're just going to use... Actually, I'm trying to think.
It's different. It's a different shield.
It's a different shield. Okay.
It's a different shield, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. It's like, wait a second. Something is different. I've boomed myself.
You have boomed yourself. But technically it is slightly. It's essentially the same logo, just on a different shield, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
So realistically, I would say it's 90% similar to their actual Overwatch League team logo, but slightly different in terms of the format provided.
You know, it's hard for me to tell the difference between different shapes. I mean, that's why I'm sitting on the floor, like the TV directly in front of my face. You know, sometimes vision, it just fades. Or
you can clearly see the Skyfoxes logo, though.
Yes. Where you look at what's going on here.
I thought it was actually, I when I first saw it, I thought it was like Neptune or something riding a seahorse.
Really?
I didn't realize that. I didn't put together initially that it was a fox. It makes a lot more sense because it is Skyfoxes, but that's what I saw.
At some point we have to figure out what a Skyfox actually is. Like, that was a mystery in and of itself, but apparently the Skyfox is the steed for some deity-like person that we're looking at here that throws lightning, or at least throws lightning-shaped projectiles.
Probably Zeus, right?
I mean, you would think it's Zeus, but have you ever heard of Zeus riding a Skyfox? Or if you're Zeus, you just do whatever you want.
I don't know. I'm not versed enough in Greek mythos for this. I mean, there's a lot of Greek mythos here because we have like Meta Athena, and we have like, you know, Skyfox with a Zeus-looking character. It's looking very Greco when we look upon this. We need to just do a phone a friend. We need to get Monty in the call because Monty is pretty big on actually being cultured, unlike us. Well, that's different. I'm cultured in other ways. Oh, truly. Monty just has a different type of culture. Do memes count as culture now? No. I'm very much, you know, you go to the house party, I'm walking around with a fine platter of cheeses and breads and wines. You know, it's very cultured in a different way. I'm thinking about house parties and whatnot. I've never been to a fancy enough house party to have good caviar. Like, I've never hit that. Okay, well, let's calm it down a bit. We're not going to caviar at these house parties, okay? with it next to these fancy cheeses. You know,
Okay, that's what I was implying here. Is that you've gone around, sampling the caviar, the cheese.
No. So we're still waiting for the pause to finish out for both these squads. So we've just been struck. We've been really struck with a lot of just pausing today.
This is Phil Day.
And what is that movie that was in early 2000s? What if you actually? Why am I asking you? You don't know movies. Never mind.
No, sometimes I do.
No. There's no point. There's zero way you would know this.
No,
movie.
I demand you ask.
I'm gonna end this line of questioning now.
No, you must ask.
Okay,
I'm reopening it.
Okay, it was when. So he discovers that there's a way to stop time as like a watch. I can stop time. Early 2000s.
I have not seen this movie.
Okay, so I knew. I knew
you're
it.
right.
I knew it.
But I wanted at the very least to say, no, I haven't seen it.
Because it just reminded me of the pausing.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I think what might have happened is they might have been on the wrong server because in my head, I'm guessing. I'm using my powers of speculation, as deep as they may be, and hearing that the game is being reloaded seems to be that the team started out and said, wait a second, wrong server, and now they're trying to go to the proper server. Who knows? Even though I'm pretty sure they can select server now, so I think my theory is completely wrong.
We'll just have to wait to see. We're just gonna have to wait to see. It's been a lot of us looking at this and sort of hypothesizing, making some thesis, writing up our various theses about what are theses. What's the plural of theses? Thesis.
I'd say theses.
Theses.
I mean, the longer this goes, really,
DC's comics?
The more uneducated we appear.
I know.
It's fantastic.
It's gaps in our knowledge. This is very important. But
we don't have Super here to just counterbalance things and be like, guys, look at Super.
We can't really just dance, exit left stage type of thing. So
no, we are the ones on display. Not technically. It's Gladiators and Skyfoxes, but it's our voices, personalities on display. Peripheral failure is what we have learned. Boostio's keyboard self-destructed, and that is why there's a reset in what is going on. Presumably, he has fixed his keyboard or found a new one. Either way, blame Boostio.
We're getting ready for the first round again here, the first mid, with a functioning Boostio keyboard, hopefully.
Watch it function so well that he falls first. Truly.
The ultimate function.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we'll see what the Skyfoxes have in store here. Obviously running a lot more DPS heavy. Legion running with the 3-2-1. And Water fine tune early, so Water strikes on the brig, and already two-man advantage to Legion, and it's a pretty good start.
Legion using this Mura composition, expecting the DPS centric for Skyfox, expecting this composition for them. They're just going to run forward and find Lastro, which they did. Even with the anti-nade, they were able to find that pick. They're already down 2. So very good find for Water immediately upon Hoon, and then recognizing what their comp wants to do there, they're just going to walk forward continuously. Legion, they're going to be rotating around looking for, just hunting continuously for Lastro. That is their goal, is to find Lastro as much as possible.
Boost an attitude, taking down players on the outskirts, but remember, Skyfox are running composition that is not as tanky. They need to be more decisive. They need to get one extra on top of it. Hoon going to be doing just that. And the Skyfoxes have almost climbed the mountain that is the Legion. And with the thrown up point here, the team is going to fall soon. Still more stalls going to be coming in, but this should be the Skyfox's point.
A lot of stalls still coming in for the Legion. Slowly but surely, Skyfoxes picking up, actually dropping the rally there, Water, getting caught by Attitude as he barrages at the same time, so...
Why?
I thought they could delay. They think they could delay. They didn't think that there was going to be a barrage coming into them. So, Water, I can't necessarily fault him for that decision, but maybe he has to keep track of the barrage there, keep track of Attitude a little bit closer.
I think even for extra delay, though, there's no one else around you. I know playing Brigitte sometimes can feel like you're immortal, but not there. Not in that time.
Legion have to re-enter this point. They will have Coalescence. They're coming up towards an EMP and a Tankle, but already the EMP for Hoon going off, catching 3.
Attitude already find Lucio in the back. Anode, good to go, rotating around. Legion looking for a way in right now. Sombra trying to get the hack off. Water finding on the back. I think Water is on the flank at the moment. Stand one falling through. And Legion, off of just rotations, able to rotate into the back line of the Skyfoxes. This is going to give them the point back.
Very equal cap bank for both these squads. Attitude, he needs to get out or something. There we go. He's gonna finally fall off the map. Just staggered himself there. Legion managed to hold on to their EMP there as well. for this following fight for the Skyfoxes. As long as they can just find one, maybe even two members of the EMP, it's already a very good situation to be in. Stand one, he's committing deep. He forces the relocate, and he also has ult. But the rest of Legion are there. They don't have to use any ults. They just pick up the frags in the back.
Legion winning a lot of mechanical battles right now. This is not a game that's been coming down to ult economy really at all. Just one-offs where the Legion just catch someone out of position.
Skyfoxes should swap, by the way. They should have been off this comp ages ago. They should really be swapping to a 3-3 setup, because when you're playing against the Moira versus that Sombra, the 3-3 with the Zen or even with the Ana is a very, very good situation to be in.
EMP out from the Legion early, and he's going to use it to dive into Skyfoxes. Skyfoxes down 4. For EMP by 4, they lose their Lucio immediately. Sam 1, just dominating space indoors. Not the place you want to be versus Winston, the old party room.
Skyfoxes, though, while it's happening, they did get the back half. They managed to flip the point here. So while this fight is happening, there's still time ticking down. They're forcing Legion to rotate back. If they can stabilize, they can look for the recontest. They have Nano. They're close to EMP and Rally as well. But Coleman and Lucio both down.
This has been dominant from the Legion so far, where, again, it's not even the standard ways you expect to see a 3-2-1 win. Skyfox has just been losing people early in fights.
Raid boss time. There it is, the Nano. They also were able to find stand 1. The beat is out. Poon still has EMP. This is winnable.
Skyfoxes back into the point. The Nano Brigida perhaps buying enough time here. Overtime still in progress, but Skyfoxes, they'll get one last moment to reflip, and it is really a 2-fight game, so the Legion are not out of the woods here yet.
However, looking at Legion's ult bank, soon to the Primal, we're going to keep Wolf on the Moira now for just another fight because they have Coalescence. They have EMP here. Skyfoxes, they don't have defensive ults, so Boostio is sort of the key member in terms of how do we find value? How do we survive? You're going to need defensive bomb. There it is for Boostio, denying a lot of this cleanup.
That's a really good defensive bomb. Stopping EMP from doing nearly as much. Legion use Coalescence. Nothing happens there. Very surprised with his own attitude on the other side. Catches water. Water overextended into Skyfoxes. Thought there was more room. Clowman, though.
He was hacked. He couldn't primal.
5-5. No problem for Clowman. And the Legion off the hack from Dalton. They move on forward. Skyfox is thrown out, and maybe Clowman gets back to the delay, but this should be it.
Lucio is able to touch. He will go down. Where's Clowman? He's primaling back to the
on.
spawn. He manages to touch, however, everyone's shooting him. It's a tough time for Clowman. Can anyone else even touch from Skyfoxes? They do have the raid boss again. The Nano Brigida, they can sustain, they can stay on point. But do they have any other ults? Do they have anyone else to follow up?
Nano Brigida fighting 1v5 versus the Coalescence, no less. But how long can Skyfoxes delay? They have the EMP up. Don't get a chance to drop it on over. And the Legion, despite a kind of shaky end to the round, looking better than they have recently.
So this is going up 1-0 right now on Busan. Legion in that first round. Overall, when you look at it, Skyfoxes just didn't swap. If they're going to play triple DPS, it's very important. You have to be finding frags. You have to win the first fight, and they do neither. In addition to that, they didn't swap fast enough. When you're into the Moira, when you're against the Sombra, when you get that Moira Sombra goats, just swap 3-3. Whether it be with a Zen or even an Ana, either one, you're in a much better position if you do it.
Gate's about to open up, and the Legion not really looking to vary things up here. Skyfoxes, meanwhile, again, going to be running with Pharah, Widow. And I mean, Pharah Widow, it is very effective. We've seen that. Look at teams like Shanghai Dragons. The question is, the Skyfoxes have the ability to execute on it. Clowman found himself hacked, immediately chased on down. Excellent pick by Dalton.
And you know what they say? It's time to swap. It's time to swap. There's no point at all to even beyond this competition. You see this? Skyfoxes go back to spawn. Don't even play triple DPS into this. I think they're really committed to playing triple DPS, but I really think they should make a swap on the 3-3 immediately.
Also, I don't think they should be in the Hammond here at a minimum, as Dalton picks off his opposing number on the other side. I think Clowman's just going to get bullied by Dalton repeatedly.
This is going to hunt for him the entire time.
Yeah.
You're so right. Dalton will hunt for him the entire time.
I think it's definitely time to go Winston, where, yeah, Winston doesn't enjoy
or
hack.
Orisa. Even Orisa. I think Orisa would be perfect against this. I think it makes it a lot harder to find it. You can make the point presence. We've seen a lot of teams run the solo tank Orisa versus a setup like this and have the triple DPS. But now Skyfoxes, they're making a swap. They're going to the 3-3. They're actually going to keep the Sombra good, so keep moving on to that Sombra. He has 60% to the EMP.
I mean, I think that's fine in terms of preserving some degree of ult economy, because then if it was just a full swap, they'd be well and truly boomed, aside from the Ana. but it's definitely a hole that Skyfoxes find themselves in just off hero chess alone, where they weren't able to execute on that composition. Early Coalescence going to be out here from Rolf on the side. Legion moving in off of an email. Throwing out mech early. And Skyfox have an opportunity as the EMP is up.
EMP is available. Dalton has the EMP of his own, though Hoon going a little low, so stopping. Bottom engage. Here comes Dalton looking for the EMP. Catches 5. There's going to be no nano available for Lastro just yet.
EMP hits the majority of the Skyfoxes. Lastro in the follow through. Skyfoxes decide they want to commit. They drop an EMP of their own. They go on board, and Lastro following through what Cloman sets up off the Nano Rhine. And the decision to recommit from the Skyfox is a good one.
They just couldn't, Legion could not find any cleanup for EMP. Dalton's EMP was very solid, but Skyfox is rotating around the wall. None of Legion was there to follow up at all. Lastro, he gets the nanos, keeps Cloman alive, and now they've capped the point. A lot of Vanguard to give to Legion. Legion should make a swap of their own here.
Hello.
I don't even think you keep stand on the Winston. I think you go to the Rhine already, but it looks like they want to commit it because the Primal is available. Skyfox's ult economy, though, looking a lot better now that Legion have had the full swap.
Even though the Legion are leading heavily in the round, I think the Omen is pretty good for Skyfox to potentially bring this back and win the round. Open up with an early rally. Stand one, moving in. Trying to disrupt here on the Winston. Instead, Graviton out from the Skyfoxes. Of course, they have the beat from Legion on the other side. Water slept off to the side. Power play opportunity.
Coleman so isolated. This Primal from stand one was brilliant, but the bubble there keeping him alive.
Gets away. Coleman is still alive.
Huge bubble from Lucio along the grenade.
Shatter in from Cloman, gets stand one, and Cloman living. A real problem for the Legion, even though they reflip. It's 5 on 5. Now this is much more in question. Dalton close to the EMP. Shield getting low, but I think if you're Dalton, you have to save the EMP.
Right now, Legion should just be leaving. They should be leaving. I don't know why they're committing to the point now. They're just going to get staggered. They're going to give more ult charge to Boocio and the rest of Skyfoxes. So that nade was huge. They're going to live. This was so risky for Boocio, who was 50 HP at one point and pushing. What a madman, but it works out. Skyfoxes, they've built up their ults here. Again, they have the EMP. Legion, they need to be sweating here a bit. This is a fight where they just need to get ults out of Skyfoxes. They must get ults out of Skyfoxes, even if they have to commit maybe a nano or something, or a rally.
They're not going to do that. They're about to have enough ultimates up that they're going to try and win the fight no matter what, and it could backfire, especially if there's a good EMP out from Hoon on the other side. Skyfox is looking for it. Really hack on the Cloman. EMP in response from Hoon. And the Legion, they are able to save, so that's pretty good for the Legion.
It was good. That was really good. They could be happy with that. They're going to lose, but they should commit. Wait, Attitude? Attitude's going to commit the rally now. That was a bit. Skyfox's not having this rally for the next fight is going to be huge. It rallies so good against the EMP in this scenario because of the armor. It's able to keep you alive. You have that continuous health coming up. Now they don't have that rally. This is a situation where if Dalton gets rallied from the EMP, Lastro doesn't have nano.
Lucio grabs first. They're moving forward, trying to set the tone. The grab stops. EMP fall through here. Still winnable. Graviton though in for the Legion on the other side. 6 on 5, Skyfox's one-man advantage, and off the shatter from Cloman, they turn it all around.
While stand one was charging to try to finish up there, Cloman drops the shatter. That was a very smart grab from Lucio, denying the cleanup. Even though the EMP was good, very good call for Skyfoxes. No, they had to grab first. They must grab first, and they're going to deny any of the cleanup. They do, so we're tied up 1-1.
Lucio, knowing what needed to be done there with the early grab, and I do think teams as a whole have really caught on to that idea of, hey, there's an EMP coming on out. We need to aggressively grab, and we need to do it now.
We're into our third round of Busan now. Skyfox is looking like they're going to roll out here on the Sombra Goats with the Ana. Very good synergy here. Nope, maybe not. Megan's making some swaps. Nope, it still is going to be that. Gladiators doing much of the same, but with Rolf on the Moira. And when you see a composition like this, oh, they're really actually going to stand one on the Winston. Okay, very aggressive comp. They're expecting a Sombra Goats here. They're going to go deep into the back line. When there's no D.Va, stand one it's tough to punish stand one when there's no D.Va on the field. The Skyfoxes are not running a D.Va or a Zen. So they're going to go very deep. They're going to look to try to hunt this back line, maybe find Lastro, find Karkar, even Hoon, any of those members. They need to isolate.
We haven't talked about it, but also not running D.Va gives Moira immensely more value as well.
It does.
In terms of poke value, just because there's no one to eat the orb, which means Moira gets a lot more free damage as both teams are trading out.
But most of the time, you really don't want to have to be using that damage orb. You'd much rather use the healing orb. Don't want to be the damage Moira, the feared damage Moira in rank, which no one wants to deal with.
Legion under a bit of pressure there. Stand one, getting forced back. Skyfoxes coming in the other way. Clawman getting booped back to start out with. Health still totally fine. Hoon, though, under pressure in the back, and just barely gets healed. The armor pack in the nick of time. But Skyfoxes continue to push forward. The EMP quickly built, way quicker than Dalton. And off the EMP, the Skyfoxes move on forward, and they get stand one. He's not able to get away.
That was an extremely quick EMP build. Who now fighting again, already 20% to another. Skyfox is slowly but surely cleaning up. And when you look at Legion's composition, they weren't able to find their win condition or their engage. Any of the position they wanted to be in for that gauge. If they're running this Winston comp, you don't want to zone point. You need to be taking the fight into them because you have the superior engage, you have the superior burst healing comparatively. But they just weren't able to do it. They don't want to play a poke war versus an Ana. The Ana's always going to win that. They need to be taking that fight a lot faster, and they weren't able to. So now Skyfoxes, they get the first flip, partially off that, well, actually pretty much entirely off the early EMP from Hoon. But they will have an EMP of their own.
Skyfoxes holding back on point, making Legion head over to them. Certainly they expect the EMP coming out in this fight. Dalton under pressure, has to back out. Now they know there's a window. They can move in before EMP's going to be ready to go back over, but now they should be expecting the EMP off on the other side. The Legion, for a decent opportunity to set it up, they're quite split. Lucio drops the Graviton for the Skyfoxes, and they don't get anything from it.
We're able to catch anyone, then Dalton invests the EMP now. They catch Lessard with it, so there was no nano available. This should be a fight win for Legion. Stand one, he does get slept. They're going to commit the beat. They're actually going to commit entirely to this fight, dropping the beat, the shatter, and the EMP. Everything.
The EMP sets the stage with the shatter, and the Skyfoxes bring it back over and into the point. The Legion left with nothing, 70% to 0.
Lessard was held onto this nano because he was caught by the EMP. However, Lode has beat. For Legion in this engage, they swap stand one to the Reinhardt. This is a tough fight to be in because likely if they put early pressure onto the front line, Lessard is just going to drop the nano, have Coleman go very aggressively and force the beat for Lode. But they're also in a situation where if they drop the beat that early, Hoon could get EMP. They're going to have to make this work perfectly for Legion.
Oh man, opening up the nano boost, going forward. Beat forced out, but it's not enough to save the Brigida attitude. Able to do the last little bit of damage. 99% for the Skyfoxes, up one, the Legion. Very low on tools, low on manpower with water being down, and the EMP used by the Skyfoxes, and that should be the finisher. Email falls, and the Skyfoxes fly to a map 1 victory.
And I don't want to say I called it, but I called it because that's exactly what happened where...
I think you did want to say you called it.
I did want to say I did.
I think you've just lied on
called
broadcast.
You called the fact that I did want to call it.
Yes.
And that it was a situation, it was a rough spot to be in if you're Legion because you're having a beat versus a nano. And if you're saving the beat for the EMP, you can't because if you try to put the pressure on the front line, Lasher's going to drop that nano. Clone forces the beat and then eventually Hoon builds the EMP. It's something where they had to get a pick or had to build an ult faster, and it's tough to do in that situation. So for Legion, really just could not close out some of those fights. They needed to make a swap a little bit earlier. They just weren't finding the value they need out of Moira. They weren't finding the engages. If you're going to play Moira, you need to be getting in much more aggressive engages and isolating the backline.
And I mean, Legion was aggressive, but in ways that weren't always effective, where there were moments where water was going on flanks that did work, where they did get the backline, but more often than not, some of the weirder flank plays they were going for tended to backfire, and I don't think it worked out well, especially not when Skyfoxes decide to swap to something more tanky on their own. So, all in all, Skyfoxes able to recover. They take map 1 away from the Legion. Now we'll see what comes as we move over to Assault, which will, of course, be Temple of Anubis. Same maps all day long.
Anubis is where Legion's going to try to look to equalize this. Now, I think also it's going to give them some options if they want to be a little bit more flexible in terms of their offense, because you can always be flexible. You can see the defense turn around, go back to spawn, make those choices, make those swaps, put water onto the projectile if that's what they want to do.
I would like to see that. I think for the Legion, where I think regardless they likely are going to get to playoffs, I mean, there are still a few scenarios where they don't. I really think you look at how the meta is shifting, you look at what we've seen in the Overwatch League, you look at what we've seen even from the top of Contenders, whether it be Contenders Korea or certainly teams like Envy in Atlanta. We are shifting to running DPS more often. And I don't think Legion has been particularly good in these 3-2-1 setups. What do you have to lose at this point? Please give it I mean, granted, the response would be, hey, work with the coaches here, we've been doing scrims, and we feel this is our best look. Fine, fair. but I feel like they still have to find a way to pivot their team to that meta.
We're going to see it very soon once we get into Anubis. Both squads just loading on up into the server, getting ready to go. And Skyfoxes, it looked shaky at first, but they made some good adaptations. Adaptations?
Adaptations.
Adaptations,
Yes.
yeah.
I was about to call
adaptations.
I already called
Sometimes
you out on
my
that. I
brain
didn't want to
goes,
say.
yeah, my brain goes a little bit too fast for the words sometimes. But adaptations, made some good adaptations.
I was gonna let that one slide. I didn't notice.
You have to call yourself. You have to make sure. You have to look for the moments of self-improvement there.
Yeah.
Making sure that you don't say just say the dumb word. Just say the really dumb English word.
Is it a dumb word, or are you just inventing new words?
No, but I say the dumb word is in like I'm saying it in a very dumb manner.
Ah.
Yes.
I mean, the other alternative view is that you're just inventing new words. You're actually smart enough to redefine the course of the English language.
The wrinkles are growing at an exponential rate. But no, I think this is where I have to give credit to Skyfox in that they made very, very good changes throughout that series. They swapped 3-3 when they needed to. They rolled out the triple DPS and then realized Coleman's going to get farmed on the Hammond repeatedly, so probably make some swaps. And Lastro, as always, is a joy to see on Ana. I mean, pretty much always finds the same value on the Ana. Someone that we've highlighted now for multiple seasons.
Lastro has continually been very arguably the best player on Skyfoxes. I think it's a little bit more debatable now that you've added Karkar in, Clone Man, and others, but there's definitely been seasons for the Skyfoxes where we look at it and go, oh, there's not a lot that's been working out well, but Lastro, that part's good, and that part does remain good.
We're getting into Anubis now. Skyfoxes on defense first, running a solo tank with Coleman on the Orisa, over that triple support with Lucio on the Vegeta. So a lot of poke damage available here for Skyfoxes between the Pharah and the Sombra. They're going to be building towards the EMP. That's going to be their win, or the Barrage, one of those two. That's the win conditions. Legion, they see this. It makes some swaps of their own, but already with the spam from between Hoon and also Attitude, they get an early pick. Nobody was at a res.
Not entirely sure that that sort of pickoff should be happening, but we do have what we've wanted to see. We have Water now on DPS, freed from Brigida jail. But so far, Legion are having a real tough time even just getting over to point.
As Attitude, I mean, he's just going so aggressively. He has no fear, especially while Dalton's down. That's a lot less poke on the field. Just trying to fight over this archway. So you're probably going to see that a lot between Attitude and Water, fighting for this archway control. Parker currently hacked. He's just to sit on the high ground. He doesn't really get displaced at all.
If you're going to get hacked, that's probably the best place. Oh, Water! Dunks on Attitude right over the top. That's why people want to see Water on DPS heroes, and why we're saying it's a good idea. Takes down another, and this is the Legion playing something that we thought would be their strength.
Something else to note here is that Legion are not playing a Brigida. They're playing triple DPS here rather than Brigida. Because Bucio, what is his purpose is the question you can ask right now when you're running that Brigida, is that he can't really find a lot of frags. The Legion aren't diving, they're walking in, they're poking. His only value there is to keep the survivability of the backline alive, but if any of those DPS heroes goes down, then the Brigida is sort of stuck in a situation where they're just going to shoot you from a distance and you can't do anything. And that's exactly what happened there on the offense. Now Bucio making the swap onto D.Va. Coleman going to go Winston.
So far, the Pharah pressure has been quite good. I don't know if it will remain into point B. Usually teams will swap off Pharah on point B, but Skyfoxes, a little bit more tanky, looking to dive on in. Not quite the cover for a Pharah, Skybox-wise here.
Look how aggressive Skyfoxes are holding to this choke. It's going to be the Barrage drop of Water. He will go down to Lastro, though. They're still holding on to this choke. This is where Legion's come. It can be tough to enter the point. They need to get opening picks. They need to use the ults to get in.
Well, they have the Resurrection up. The Dragon leads the way. Eva's out of the battle, and this is really big for Water. Giving more room. The EMP is invested, and the Legion just flood onto the point. DPS look has been much better for them here so far. As Skyfoxes, they're forced out, but they do have a Nano. Nano, maybe their last gasp. Flowman moves in, finds Alonzo, looking for a bit more. As Karkar goes all the way to the back, dueling Lucio, and makes enough space. The Skyfoxes fight their way back.
The space was important. Even if Karkar dies for it, the space was definitely worth it. Take away some of that pressure there from the point. Space is a resource.
And also a player.
It needs to be and a player, and it needs to be controlled. So now Skyfox is using that rally late. They've come back in. They've adjusted. They've saved the point now. Legion, though, they got 79% on the board. They have a little less than 5 minutes now to push. Play some eco pushes here. For Skyfoxes, they're going to look to eco a bit. Only want to use one ult in this next fight. Probably going to play it a little slow and just wait to use the EMP.
Also, no big surprise to see Legion fully swap. Just the nature of Point B Anubis. Harder to run, more DPS-centric comps into it beyond the early snowball period. And Hoon for now, no pressure. Just needs to wait for the Legion to actually commit to the point.
And this is the right move to do for Skyfoxes. They don't want to overcommit anywhere. You see the hack go out from Hoon. Sort of forces the rotation, forces a lot of these early cooldowns. They don't want to lose anyone. There's no nade now available.
Skyfox is almost overcommit, trying to deal and get a reward off the hack. Hoon's going on TMP, gonna drop it. It's 3, stand 1, know where to go right after. The bomb directly to the back. And that's up for the Skyfoxes. Critical damage to lead the push.
Hoon now going to be trying to pick up a little bit more of that ult charge. The fight lasted long, they waited a long time, and that's what you should be doing when you're playing a Sombra Goat setup like Skyfoxes are. You just wait. You don't have to commit. You can just wait, build your own ult, take time off the clock. But now, because that fight just took a while, it sent some intrigue for Legion. They've built up some of their ult towards some of their ults of their own. Boostio now going to be on the Zarya instead of the D.Va, which I think is the right call here. So you'd rather just mirror matchup. You don't want to play the D.Va into the setup, into the Sombra Goats.
Legion buying the time. Not even going to the side here, looking to go straight up the middle. They just want to use the EMP immediately. They hit 4, but the beat from Parkar comes out, only hits 3. Does not hit the EMP people. Yeah, it's still enough for the Skyfox to stay alive. The Nano and the Clone Man makes enough space, stops the Legion from immediately following through. Now the EMP is gone, the Bio Nade scaring off the Legion even more.
They've used both their support ults, and now Dalton's about to have grab.
Dangerous spot to be in. Stam 1 drops the Shatter. Doesn't get anything from
the nade.
And the nade once more. Lastro so good on Ana.
That saves the day there, and the sleep. That entire time, Emil's sleeping. Lastro being huge. Skyfoxes, despite that double support layer to keep Coleman alive, they use that rally very effectively to re-engage. Lastro hits a huge nade.
It was a well-timed nano as well.
But Dalton still has grab. Dalton still has grab. Lode has beat. Hoon is going to be instrumental. Hoon's EMP here is going to be the instrumental factor for Skyfox determining how do they survive this upcoming engagement. They're likely going to look for the EMP first to build up some more of their ults and to stop the push.
Well,
they
get grab first. That's the opening that needed. But the EMP comes out later. The fall through wasn't there. The problem is they get the early grab, but it was so early that no one on the Legion could actually get there to the grab and fall through.
And in addition, when they finally got there, Hoon drops the EMP. They set up the nade. Skyfoxes are sort of one of the original founders, sort of one of the original users of just the EMP nade, where you constantly drop that EMP. Lastro always hits those nades. They get insane value. And Lode wasn't able to keep his team alive before that damage came in. And now, there's no grab, there's no beat for Legion. They have to walk into the grab for Skyfoxes into the Nano. Even though they have EMP, it's going to be a tough fight to win.
I think this is really the Legion's last chance. Because if they don't get an incredible EMP Shadow here, ult economy-wise, they're just not going to have what it takes for the fight after. So they need an incredible EMP and an even better Shatter follow-through.
Here comes Emil.
Emil goes into the EMP. Shatter in from Stam 1 immediately, knocks Clone Man to the ground, but Lastro, again there with a well-timed nano. Clone Man shrugs it off, and look at how low they are, as the Legion just gets pummeled from all angles, particularly
They need to leave. They need to leave or die right now.
They're done.
They're going to get cleaned up here. The Skyfoxes, they did survive the EMP. They've also built up towards yet another of their own. Hoon at 84%. And this is last fight for Legion right here. Last fight. By the time Legion have all fully spawned, they've rotated to the point. It is going to be probably around like 30 seconds on the fight, on the clock by the time the fight happens, if that. And realistically, it's going to be on Dalton to build this grab. They really need to build this grab. They really set it up here because Hoon's EMP can finish them all off very early.
So for Legion, they can take a little bit of extra time because they're not going to be able to finish with time left remaining. It's one final good fight, but dealing with the EMP is going to be so hard.
The Legion have rotated towards the point now. They've gone through the flank. Hoon sees it now. He's waiting. Just trying to bait out any sort of ult. Just throwing that translocator. Here he goes again. Now he's going to set it up.
EMP over the top. Shatter immediately there. And Stand 1 naded and gone. As you say, Lastro does not miss those nades. And the fall through, more than good enough. The Skyfoxes to hold against the Legion.
Legion will not be getting second. Very, very good. Very clean hold for Skyfoxes. Their ult economy past that initial snowball was extremely good. Legion did get 79% on the point, though, so they do have a very clear win condition. They do have a way to win this map, despite not capping second.
I think you have to really investigate how that happened there, though, which is that they were able to get 79%, but they got 79% from the snowball of running a really good DPS comp. The Legion look much better on DPS compositions, but the final point of Anubis, well, that just kind of ruins your day because it's not really the most DPS-friendly point. And for the Legion, the question is, could they hold point A with the DPS-heavy set? Because that's really the only way I see them beating the Skyfoxes here, from what we've seen thus far.
We have to see what Legion are going to do, how they're going to adapt, how they're going to play moving forward. They're going to be on this defense now. Skyfox is on the offense. And for Skyfoxes, they'll probably roll on this triple DPS. If they see Legion play anything very antithetical to that, they're going to swap. But looking at Legion's comp right now, I mean, they're running Winston, they're running Ana, which is a very good setup with the 3-3 in terms of denying some of the space for 3-3, but it's not the perfect counter by any means. It's not the perfect counter to triple DPS. You could definitely make Skyfox's composition work here, especially when probably one of the hardest parts about it is that they don't have extremely strong defensive ults without a Zen. So they can definitely play for this. They could swap if they want, just play a 3-3 with a Zen. That's also an option. It's just up to them to decide.
Well, the Skyfoxes, nothing else, definitely have options here versus the Legion. Legion, meanwhile, it's going to be difficult to do a point A hold with the composition they're running, as that is a big Bionade, but it doesn't really matter for too much early on. Just bonus points for Wolf, a little bit of extra ult charge.
Boostio actually almost getting poked down early. Wolf hitting a couple of those shots there. I remember back in the days when Ana would two-shot the Tracers.
Ah, the good old days.
Any Overwatch boomers?
Any Overwatch boomers? Do you remember the Overwatch Open? I'll tell you. You're out of touch. You're not an Overwatch zoomer at all. Stand one, though. Bionaded early. Almost falls. Lucky to get out of the line of fire there, but this gives Skyfox the opportunity. They come in over the top. Ana's already down. Wolf out of the fights. Attitude, a lot of room to work with. The pile driver setting up the rockets even more. And this is going to be a very quick point A snowball for the Skyfoxes.
It is. They're going to be building up towards this nano all the while, and the EMP. That was extremely good engage for Skyfox. Despite Cloman, he was going in on stand one, who was very low. He still forces disruption, forces all the tanks off the point. Wolf had used all of his cooldowns. He even drops right into the weighted arms of Attitude into those rockets. And now Skyfoxes, they're moving forward aggressively. Legions, they have no ults. They aren't really set up at all. Skyfox is sitting here and poke for a while. They just all they need to wait for is EMP. EMP barrage with the nano. That's all they need. They can poke. They don't have to do anything too quickly here.
The key here is that as you poke, safe poke. Don't let someone fall before EMP is ready. Instead, the Legion move forward. Boostio slept. This is going to be an early pickoff. But meanwhile, the EMP happens on the other side. So while they're dealing with the Tracer, they're not looking at the front line. They lose their Winston. And this might work out well for the Skyfoxes. Oh, man.
Karkar even gets the res. Karkar gets the res. That's a very risky res, but it works out. Water's down. They're on the point. They're controlling the pack as well because he has that pack lower.
And look, lines are still spacing out the Legion. This is incredibly good for the Skyfoxes. Remember, if they're able to cap point B, that's it. The map is over. This will be a speed run and then some.
Look at Boostio hunt Wolf. He can't get him. Wolf is out geometry, but Attitude finally finishing up Water with the rally now. But all of Skyfoxes are on point. Flasher will go down, but it's fine as long as they play these ults, as long as they keep Attitude alive.
Turns out flank B for the OP. Pulse bomb off to the other side. Boostio connects, but Dalton back. Still Boostio moving around, but I think the Legion have done enough to stem the tide here.
They have. Boostio, he struggled so hard for so long. His focus fire was sorely missed trying to clean up Wolf there. And the rest of the Legion comes back out. They sustain long enough to where they're finding Lastro. Losing one pick, even one pick there. So important. Now Skyfox is going to probably make the full swap onto the 3-3 or onto the Sombra Goats. They do have EMP, but Dalton already has that grab. So next fight, if I'm Legion, I should know there's EMP still around. I'm gonna have to grab effectively here. I'm gonna have to grab early. Try to clean them up.
Skyfox is still working with plenty of time, over 5 minutes, though they did not get a tick on the last attack. EMP in reserve, and see the very aggressive engagement from Legion. I think they're doing this because they know EMP is on the way, and boom, drops the EMP anyways. Skyfox is trying to turn the tide. They get bionated though, so it removes a little bit of aggression, yet they take down Lude.
This is still okay. This is still okay for Legion as long as they don't lose any one of the transitions. Because Lude, he'll be back with the beat. There's no EMP available now. This is a fine position to be in, but Dalton, he can't get caught. He can't get isolated.
Skyfox is getting poked down. Boone in real danger. Rally up, but rise up only to get shattered to the ground. And one. control of the situation for Legion. Boone already down. Boosteel, though, about to put up Grav midway through. 4 on 6. I don't think popping Grav is the right idea, and I don't think it will be.
Skyfoxes having to save, having to push for another day, not quite getting the cap just yet. And you want to talk about building Grav? Dalton 80% to another. 80% to another grab, just invested it. Dalton is a player we've seen. Sometimes he has questionable grabs, but always is building them very, very quickly.
Less likely to have a questionable grab in the current situation.
When there's no D.Va.
Yeah,
no D.Va. Very easy to set those grabs up. Now Legion, they will have almost 5 ults for this upcoming fight. Skyfoxes, they don't have the EMP, which is sort of the crux of their position. So they have to come in here, take the fight, build up towards this EMP.
Skyfoxes, I don't think they've really gone to the best where they could play from mistakes from Legion. Oh, as I say that, they like what they see. They drop the Graviton, they go for the Bionade, and the beat is out. The Skyfoxes are all in here in this fight. They hack on the Stam in the middle of it. It sets up the Shatter, water goes down, and this is not quite as good as the counter grab just ruined today.
Skyfoxes invested a lot in that fight. So they did make Legion invest a lot of return, and that would have been a fight that I think they're perfectly happy with if they resorted to an EMP, but they're only 60%. Only 60% to the EMP. But I think they're going to still be okay with it in the end. They're going to probably move forward here this next fight. They're going to rally in, put a lot of pressure on the stand one, try to force that Shatter out, maybe even force the beat early, and then set up their EMP. Because this is the trap that Luddy's in right now, is that he knows that Boone is close to EMP, if not already having it, though obviously they don't know that he doesn't have it just yet, unless their ult tracking is very good. And they're going to have to worry about keeping their front line alive here when Skyfoxes rally in and saving the beat for the EMP.
Skyfoxes don't have rally here just yet. They are almost already to the point. Need a bit of poke damage along the way. Big health pack going to be hacked. EMP ready, and the rally is used. And Lude doesn't even have the barrier yet. This could be quite bad. There's the EMP. It hits Lude anyway.
Catches everyone.
Yeah, that is devastating. The Skyfoxes, they get the perfect EMP, and they grind the Legion into dust. This is going to be map 2 going away the Skyfoxes. The first half is theirs.
Letty comes out from spawn, tries to drop the beat on himself, but dies mid-cast. And Legion, he needed to be much more aware of their positioning there. They could not be in a spot where everyone is caught. It's one thing if one of their supports is caught, but if both their supports are caught by EMP, it's just disaster because you needed to have some cooldowns. You need to have either the beat or the nade, the sleep, one of the two.
Also, I mean, that was really tough for Lude there, where I think the reason why Lude gets caught by EMP is that he was just trying to build barrier that entire time. It was the world's slowest 90 to 100 that we were seeing.
Which is why definitely, if you're in that sort of position, you either A, have to build it faster, forehead, or B, split Wolf. Split Wolf, because you can tank through that fight, even if you maybe lose one player from the EMP, with the nade and the sleep and the heals from Ana, you'll have beat post-EMP. Unless the focus fire from Skyfoxes is like exceptionally good. So definitely a little bit of a misplay, though, in terms of position.
I would definitely agree. But that was the first half here. Will the Legion be able to rally? We'll find out in just a few minutes.